Good morning and happy Saturday. Oh, I don't like this lighting. So I'm trying a new location in my home and trying a new light. I don't love it, to be real honest. It's so bright. Oh my God. It is very bright and to be honest, a little distracting. Kind of want to keep glasses on, to be honest. It's just going to help me see a little bit more. Trying to think of like, is there another and that the ring? Do you see my ring light in my glasses? That's gonna be distracting too. Um, maybe I will give me 1 second. Let me open up a couple of windows. Also, you can see like everything plugged in. Maybe this isn't a great location to do lives. So I'll have to remember that for next week. Um, let me go open up the windows. Okay. So I will say by this time, by 10 a.m. On the East Coast, um, I usually have really good lighting, but it rained like this morning, like a thunderstorm rolled in, rolled in around like 6 a.m. and it ended like by 9 a.m. It had like stopped raining and everything. Um, so as of right now, it's still very overcast. Um, so like I opened up, there's a window over here. And by this time, like sometimes I just have to keep it closed because it gets so bright for like an hour or two. And then by noon, it's like all gone. I don't get great lighting in my condo, but yeah, it's just overcast today. So I'm not getting a whole lot of light. So yeah, also, let me fix my ring light because are we going to work? Oh, no. What if I just like, oh, that's too dark. Anyways, I apologize because you guys came. Oh, that's a no. You guys came for Enneagrams talking, and now I'm sitting here playing with my light. I really don't like this. This is not okay. Interesting. Okay. Um, hold on. Let me talk. Let me talk to my friend. Alexa, turn on the first light. Slightly better. Okay. We're just gonna deal this week. Um, so first of all, I've got my oatmeal this morning. I did do a workout, so I'm still in my workout clothes. I haven't put makeup on. Um, I'm eating. Sorry, if you don't like people who eat on camera, I don't like it either. I actually hate seeing myself eat on camera, but I'm very hungry. Um, so, anyways, it's like the quick 1 minute oats with it's almond butter, crunchy almond butter this week. I think no, it's peanut butter. It's peanut butter. And I actually added a little bit of vanilla extract and a pumpkin spice, like the spice that you can buy at the grocery store. Um, it's pretty good. I don't hate it. And I am drinking. Pretty sure I had this mug last time. It's the Hey There Hot Stuff mug with fox on it. It's from I believe Target. Oh my gosh, that ring light! Like stop. So this is what I don't like about ring lights is all the reflections that it gives. But I am drinking. It's like a. It's called Candy Cane Lane Tea. It's from Trader Joe's. It's a green tea. It says it's decaffeinated. I don't believe it, which is why I'm drinking it because I'm like, it at least has a lower, like if it's decaffeinated, it's at least a lower caffeination than like the coffee I had first thing when I woke up. Um, so it's still really hot, so I'm not going to drink it, but it's a very good tea. I'm a big fan of the Trader Joe's seasonal teas. Anyways, so last week I did not do a live, and I'm not gonna lie, this morning I was trying to think of why, so I could like explain it. Couldn't think of it. Um, I really don't remember why I didn't do a live last week. Like it was the end of March, the last weekend in March. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know if it was just because I've had a hard time getting through the complete Enneagram. And so talking about it was like, I'm not done yet, like with the chapter. So I don't know. I don't know if that was it or not. But, anyways, I'm here now. I've got no makeup on. I haven't done, I mean, I don't really care too much about doing my hair. But yeah, I've got no makeup on. I've got all the zits, which I thought about at least like putting cover up on them. But then I realized like I really only put cover up on them to benefit like you guys. Not to say that's a bad thing to care about other people, but I'm like, this is what's going on. Like I shouldn't hide who I am or what's going on in my life because I'm afraid of what people will like think about me. So I'm leaving them out. They need to breathe. Like it's bad to cover them up. Like it's actually good to like let your skin breathe. Because it is a living organism. Fun fact, if in case you just didn't realize, your skin is a living organism. It needs to be taken care of. It's not just like a canvas to paint on, like it is a living, breathing part of your body. It's just as important as your liver and your eyes and your heart and your brain and things like that. Like it does need to be taken care of. So anyways, yeah, so this week we are talking about type fives, which I'm super excited for because I know I mentioned in the last video. My boyfriend, my partner, he is a type five, and so I'm excited to talk about him. All right. Also, um, wanted to talk about when I am proud of myself for this week because I know I tried to share that and I almost forgot it. But not gonna lie, I didn't think about what I'm proud of myself for. So, I mean, just off the top of my head, I could say like I'm proud of myself for not choosing to put on makeup this morning to impress people. Um, I'm doing what's healthy for my skin, which is not wearing makeup, even for like my eyelashes and my eyebrows. I usually put, even for work, I do like a natural look, but the natural look is just like covering this up, putting cover up under my eyes. I put a little mascara on my upper lashes and makeup on my eyebrows, and like that's pretty much it. Um, and I didn't even do that for you guys today because it's okay. I'm gonna be fine. So yeah, I'm proud of myself for doing that. There you go. If you have something else that you're proud of yourself for, or if you're like same, let me know in the comments. And we're gonna talk about type fives. Okay. So quick overview. I have my Kindle with me. That's what I'm reading the complete Enneagram on. Um, so if you don't know about type fives, they are very much driven by a need to gain information in order to survive in the world. And information can be anything. I know my first thought when I hear information is like, you need to know a little bit about a lot of things, or, maybe looking into the things maybe we deem like intellectual. So, like, um, science and technology and engineering, the STEAM stuff or the STEM stuff. Like, just because you're in one of those doesn't those one of those fields, or because you're interested in it, doesn't mean you're a five. I mean, I know a type five who is a teacher. I know a couple of type fives who are teachers, and so they really do arm themselves with like information to do well. And it's not necessarily about doing well. It's something that I love and admire about type fives. Um, they are not people pleasers. They are into preserving themselves. They want information for themselves. They don't feel necessarily a need to teach you their information. It's more about them and protecting themselves with information and knowledge. Um, I know my partner has said before that he absolutely hates saying I don't know. I think he's gotten used to it because he's in his 30s now. Um, because I don't feel like type fives don't make things up. Like some other types might feel like they need to make things up to look good. Type fives don't. But if they ever feel that sensation of like, I don't know, even if they don't say it, I think it really bothers them. So I know I keep eating my oatmeal. Guys, it's so good. So let's look at some type five stuff. Let me go to my notes. I tried this week to only, oh, that's not it. I tried this week to only make notes or like highlight in my Kindle the things that like I'm definitely going to share with you guys, because I'm one of those people. I'm like, that's really cool, and I just want to highlight it, and then I have like a million highlights in one chapter, and then I'm not really going to share like any of that with you, like maybe one or two things. So let's see. Also, this transition to spring, like it's gone between like 40 degrees. I think a couple nights ago it got down to like 37 degrees, but then it gets up to like 75. I think this weekend's going to get up to 78. And so my sinuses are just like all over. My body does not like these transitions. It doesn't do very well. All right, what do we have? So, first of all, The Complete Enneagram by Beatrice Chestnut. Forgot to say that. She says that like the type 5 represents the archetype of the person who withdraws into thinking and detaches from feelings as a way of like taking refuge inside themselves. So they have a tendency to seem, and that's the thing, is they do have a tendency to detach, but oftentimes it's perceived as they don't like you. I know a man who is a type 5 who one of his really good friends, a longtime friend, said, I've realized that people think that he doesn't like them. But in actuality, that's his personality to do that. Like it's not, it has nothing to do with you. Um, he just doesn't, type fives just don't feel a need to be engaged. They don't want to impress you. They're not trying to gain anything. They are usually not extroverts. And even if they are, I do know another man who's he's a type 5 and an extrovert, but he's definitely not out to impress you. He's not out to just talk about himself all the time. He is very curious. In fact, his personality is not the bubbly, energetic type, or the bubbly, energetic personality that we often associate with extroverts, especially like type 7s. I think there's a lot of assumptions that type sevens are extroverts, and not all of them are. I know a couple of type sevens, they're both extroverts, but it's not necessarily true of all of them. Let's see what else. So the central drive of a type 5 is to find this is kind of like a core desire in a way. It's to find security by minimizing their needs and using the resources that they have or that they can gain. And they kind of try to minimize like the kind of the outside threats or the outside needs in their lives. So for example, my partner um, is very thrifty. He doesn't try to be thrifty. He's just the kind that he can research something so much that he can convince himself not to buy it. So, for example, I'm trying to think of a specific example. Let's see. I know he has bought like computer parts before. He builds computers sometimes. This is, yeah, I feel like it's such a stereotypical type 5 thing, but he does. And I know at one point uh, there were some things that he wanted to buy, and then he was researching like what's the best option for him and for his project. And he did it so much that it he spent like over a month like researching, and I don't know if he ever even bought the part. So that's a very typical like type 5 behavior is that they want to be so they want sometimes I wouldn't even say they want the best. I keep wanting to say like they want the absolute best and they're not going to settle for less. Oftentimes type 5s do settle for less, but it's more material things. Like they don't feel a need to like have a ton of books like I have. Um they're fine with like borrowing books or having a few things on their Kindle. Like they don't need stuff. And so sometimes they can just get to a point of researching so much and wanting to find the best that they're like, do I really need it? I went over a month without needing it. So I probably don't need it. So then they just don't get the thing that you're like, just buy it. Like my type 4 self is like, but it's fun to like buy things that you want, even if you end up giving them away sometimes, which is not a habit that I love about myself. And we'll talk more about that next week when we talk about type 4s. So let's see. Mhm. What did I wanna talk about? So, yeah, seem very maybe even aloof a little bit. Oh, I thought this was really interesting. So, in each chapter I don't know if you've heard of this before. I heard of this a few years ago, but never really looked into it. And didn't quite understand the brief description that I saw. But there's this whole thought process, I don't know, about, Homer's The Odyssey representing the 9 types. And, um, because there's, like, 9 different monsters or creatures or things that Odysseus and his men, his crew, encounter. And so the one that's supposed to represent the type 5 is when, Odysseus and his men meet, Hermes and Circe. And so it says, like, first of all, both Hermes and Circe, they each guard and use secret knowledge. So I know this about Hermes. I literally know this because of J.K. Rowling and Disney. I know it's not like super legit, but like it's cool. I think it's so cool. So Hermes is like a messenger of the gods. Um, I definitely remember him, in the Disney Hercules movie. And then that is also where like J.K. Rowling got the name Hermione, she got the name Hermione um, from Hermes because Hermione is like the female equivalent of Hermes. And if you have read the book, seen the movies, um, Hermione is kind of, she's like a wealth of knowledge. She's a walking Britannica. You know what I mean? She's got all the definitions and the knowledge, and she just knows a lot because she reads a lot and she has a thirst for a lot of knowledge. I did see someone like on Instagram, it's kind of a side note, like typed her as a type 5, like in the movies. And I was like, she's not type 5. Um, I think she does like a lot of, she likes knowledge, but she definitely has a very hidden anger. So I think she's a type 1. And we'll talk more about that when I talk about type 1s. Um, but, anyways, Hermes, he's a messenger of the gods. He keeps a lot of the knowledge of the gods with him. And then Circe, interesting, didn't know this, means hawk. And so you think about like even the phrase like I'm watching you like a hawk, it means you're kind of like micromanaging and you're like staring them down. Um, and type fives often, not necessarily that they're always watching people like that, like it seems almost creepy, but type fives often are observers. And so Hermes and Circe kind of have that like the knowledge and the observation parts of them. Um, Also, Circe, she turns like Odysseus's men into like pigs because they're greedy, and she kind of views that as like punishment to be greedy. And oftentimes, type fives, um, they don't want to be greedy. They kind of like find ways to not be greedy. And and then Odysseus gets the help of Hermes to basically like outsmart Circe, and then she turns his men back into humans from pigs. Um, that is kind of a big, like that is, and she kind of like finds it very surprising. Circe finds it surprising because no one's been able to outsmart her. So one, what a great woman. That's amazing. Love her. Like I literally read this and was like, if I ever get the puppy that I want, like I might have to name the puppy Circe because that's amazing. Like she sounds so cool. I didn't know this about her. um, but also that's a thing. Like type fives really respect people who can do things on their own. People who are resourceful and or intellectual, and they can like kind of figure things out like all by themselves, and they're independent. Like they really admire that in those people. They don't like helpless people. They don't like to play the victim. I know my partner, something that I think is nice about the both of us and why we're kind of working is because, I mean, one, we're both in our 30s. So we are like a little bit more mature. We've grown a lot. We've learned a lot from the past, um, which is also a great thing. But hold on, I want to make sure I like get back to where I'm supposed to be. Also, like we're both just very like independent, and and so we respect that in each other, but at the same time, I think we respect um, each other's knowledge and don't feel a need to change it. So, for example, I have 2 YouTube channels. I have 2 Instagram accounts. And I film things all the time. My partner, my type 5 partner, has no social media, none at all. You might never really, you don't see his face too much on either one of my YouTube accounts or Instagram accounts. I don't say his name. Um, and he really doesn't, he's never said not to say his name. He just doesn't want me to like, share any super personal information. Obviously. So I think that's very fair. Um, and yet he has been nothing but supportive. I mean, I bought this ring light, but then he bought me a camera He's bought me for my other YouTube channel, I sell clothes, pre-loved clothing, and he bought me racks for my first sale coming up this month. Like, he has really done a lot. He's talked to me about things, he's helped me research things. Um, and even outside of that, I had to buy a car last summer, and like, I absolutely hate negotiating. If I feel like people, because I am very intuitive, it's a fun fact about type fours, if I feel like you're like BSing me, like I just kind of shut down and go, I don't even care. And I walk away. And so I think, you know, because I can't just buy a car out of a vending machine, especially right now with the economy. Um, he like negotiated for me because he enjoys doing that. Um, and he does it in a very impersonal way and doesn't get offended by, car salesmen being car salesmen. Whereas I'm just like, oh, I don't want to do this. And I kind of like check out. Um, and he doesn't. He stays very engaged because he doesn't see it as like, I think we both get annoyed, but I shut down. But his reaction is like, this is kind of like a necessary evil. Like, it needs to happen in order for um in order for you to get a car, and you need a car. Like, it's kind of ignorant to think that in, this area that I live in, I don't need a car. You know what I mean? Um, yeah. So he's been nothing but supportive and very curious. And even about the Enneagram, we've had, I think 2, 3 weeks ago, we had a really good discussion about the Enneagram. And it was fun. Like, it was cool. So there's a lot to love about type fives. And I do want people to be encouraged. Like, if you do know a type five, um, if what doesn't matter what your relationship is to them, how close or not close you are, if they're a significant other, if they're not. My tea is finally like decent to drink right now, so I had to drink some of it. But no matter what your relationship is to a type five that you know or that you suspect as a type five, please know, like, there's a good chance that they have nothing against you. If you feel like they are withdrawing from you, if maybe you said something, like, I've done this in the workplace, like, you say something and then you think the other person's like mad at you for saying it. Um, and so maybe you are the one projecting. There's a good chance that the type five is not mad at you and they hold nothing against you. They're very objective thinkers and they are not out to please you. Um, they are, however, they care very much for the people they do let into their lives. Um, and it doesn't mean they don't like other people. It just means they they like to honor and respect and do things for the people who are kind of in their inner circle. They're not the kind to go to the other. Like, I've heard about, like, the inner circle and then the bigger circle and the bigger circle and the bigger circle. I mean, they're going to let maybe 5 people into that inner circle. Um, and if you're not in the inner circle, like, if you're in the inner circle, like, you really are fortunate. You have the most respectful partner, friend, colleague you can have. Um, they are kind and respectful. Type fives are kind and respectful people. If you are not in their inner circle, just know, just be, if you are kind and respectful to them, they're never going to be mad at you. Like, there's no reason. They also aren't offended by, like, a tense conversation. Like, it's kind of like type eights. They're not offended by disagreeing. They're not offended by tension. They just kind of see it as a necessary thing in life. And it's not even a bad thing. It's just, we're all different and it's okay. And type fives, I think, recognize that very, very well. Actually, type fives go to type eight in growth. And if you talk about soul child theory, um, a type 5 was probably a type 8 as a child, but then just because of life and what we were communicated about and all the things that can happen, they kind of backslid into type 5s. Um, so think about that too when you encounter type 5s or type 8s. Um, they really are out to love you. Also, just what I personally want to say to type 5s is that like you are very much wanted and needed. And if people ever do things to make you feel like you're not wanted or needed, and maybe they don't want your intelligence, like it's okay. They're not ready to hear it. They're not at a place to hear it. And it probably has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them. And so it's not a thing to blame them because you don't know the whole story of their lives and what's going on inside their brains. And that's okay. In that case, it is okay to create distance. And at the same time, like type fives, I know you guys really love to be knowledgeable about something, like you want to be able to give facts and objective data. Um, so please know that there are times and places to share those things. And if someone doesn't respond well, it's okay. It's fine. I know my partner, he will share things with me. And I've literally told him, like, I'm listening to everything you say. I just don't comprehend it. And so, no, I don't really have anything else to say. I don't even know what to ask you about because I don't even know what some of these terms mean. In fact, sometimes the questions I ask are like, what are you talking about? Like, what does that word mean? Wait, what does this thing do? Like, and then sometimes I'm like, I don't even know. I can't comprehend in my brain what you're talking about. So that happens and it's okay. It's okay. You don't need to be offended. I love my partner type 5. Even if I don't understand everything he says, I very much admire um, his intelligence. I admire his independence. I admire his hard work, and I admire the fact that he doesn't he recognizes that he doesn't owe anyone anything, and I admire that he's not a people pleaser. So, and I wouldn't even say those are things that I'm not, and I'm trying to like build it up like he does what I wish I could do. Um, I mean, we're both very independent, but like, I just like those things about him. I very much enjoy those things and his patience too. Oh my God, patience is something I'm always working on. So that's something I don't really have, even though I'm a teacher. Patience is very difficult for me. But so there's a lot to admire about him as a type 5. There's a lot to admire about all types. Um, and so, yeah, I hope that encourages my type 5 friends and friends who are not type 5s but know some type 5s. So I will see you guys next week for next Saturday morning for type 4s. This might be a great conversation. It might be a really awkward one for me, but we'll see. Either way, I hope today is a good day for you, no matter where you are. And I hope you find some way to love yourself and love a type 5. See ya.